Hi guys, so a bit of a weird one today. I'm not in a car, as you can see. I'm on my sofa. To make up for that, I'll be 10% more charming and lovable than I am usually when I'm driving a car. I had the chance to go to a race called the Enduropale du Touquet recently. Which is a French beach motocross race held in a place called the Touquet in northern France. Really amazing race if you ever get the chance to go. It's just a 13-kilometer track, very crazy. And they race for 3 hours. So these guys are tough as nails. But obviously to get there from the UK, I treated myself to the Eurotunnel, which I've never been on before. It's really good, very quick. So I took the Eurotunnel, and there's not much to do on the Eurotunnel, except I went on when there was a GT2 996 Porsche in front of me, so I could look at that for a bit. But then otherwise I had to buy myself a magazine to read, and I went and looked, and I saw this copy of Autocar. You see the front cover there, which was particularly interesting for me at the moment because obviously with the Porsche now, just in the last stages of getting it ready and serviced for the last time before I sell it. And so now I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do with the money when I get it? What am I going to buy, basically? And so basically, in this article, a journalist called Dan Prosser, who used to write for Evo, goes through at different price points, so £2,000, £5,000, £15,000, £25,000, and chooses the cars that he would buy, or that you should buy, the best drivers' cars at those prices. So I thought I'd just do a really simple, quick video just to go through the article and pick out what I would choose in each category. So starting with the £2,000 article, I'll just show you this here. So he goes for a Renault Sport Clio 182, Toyota MR2 Mark III, Mazda RX-8, Mazda MX-5 Mark II, and then a journalist called Steve Copley choose the Audi TT Quattro. Start with the Renault Sport Clio 182. I really like this actually. It's not a car that I remember particularly liking at the time, but I happen to know that Harry Metcalf has got one. A journalist called Henry Catchpole's got one, that you probably know from the Carfaction films. And it's just super rated, and really, I mean, if you get into that for £2,000, like, you're laughing. The MR2, the Toyota, nah, never liked that at the time. Just too sort of goggle-eyed. The Mazda RX-8, I know there are people that sort of lose their proverbial poo-poo for the rotary engine and get it tattooed on them, etc. I'm not one of those people. I've never driven one, but it sounds like they say in the article that they're basically ticking time bombs, so I'm alright for that, thanks. That Mazda MX-5, that was my least favourite iteration of the Mazda. I like the Mark 1, I like the Mark 3, I like the Mark 4, but the Mark 2 never floated my boat. And the TT, I think that's really cool. I think it's going to become like a design icon. But I think out of all of these, I would go with the Renault Sport Clio 182, and I'm actually quite tempted to do that. Over to the 5,000. Look at that. So you see, the main picture is Subaru Impreza WRX, then a Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark 5, Nissan 350Z, Renault Sport Clio 197, and then a journalist called Matt Saunders goes for a Honda Integra Type R. So start with the big picture, the Subaru Impreza WRX. You know, a car I like in principle. Like, I was a big rally fan, like when I was a kid. The car they show here is more the Richard Burns era, and I was like very Colin McRae oriented. So I like it in principle, but you got to think that those owners would have probably ragged it to Kingdom Come. Whereas something like the Golf GTI Mark 5, which I actually used to have and really loved that car, really versatile, talented car. I did like hill climbs in that car. I lugged loads of furniture around from Belgium in that car. Like, it can do loads of stuff. I had a lot of affection for it. Nissan 350Z, meh. Yeah, it sounds a bit like a Hoover. No, just don't float my boat. Renault Sport Clear 197. I know a guy who had one of those actually, and he loved it. It was never my favourite, to be honest. But maybe it's looking cool now. I quite like it in the yellow. That sort of Renault Sport yellow is good. And then, yeah, the Honda Integra Type R. Again, I kind of like it, but I've got no real affection or affiliation to them, so maybe not. No, I think out of all those, I'll go with the GTI Mark V. A known quantity for me. £15,000. Getting interesting now. See? There you go. That's the choices. Start with the Focus RS. I remember that being reviewed on Top Gear and Jeremy Clarkson not being totally enamoured with it at the time. Actually, it's aged really well. It looks great. It looks great in that blue. The interior sort of sucks a bit. It's got like blue leather, etc. But really cool, and that has actually tempted me into sort of scouring the internet for them. I haven't found any at 15,000, to be honest, but I found some interesting ones. Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, it's got the same problem as the Impreza, really. It would have been ragged to within an inch of its life. Ditto the BMW M3 E46. I mean, you know, I know there are owners who will have, you know, treated it with respect and loved it, but there must be some really knackered examples out there, and I'm not really mechanically minded enough to be able to spot a rotter, probably. Vauxhall VX220 Turbo, yeah, I'd rather have an Elise, to be honest. I know it's the same car in principle, but no, give me an Elise. Vauxhalls don't really do anything for me. Audi RS4, I'd buy an Avant, but still, yeah, that's like a cool car to get into for 15 grand, and you know, this is one of those cars you could use definitely every day. So yeah, interesting at 15,000 price point. On to £25,000. It's a selection. So start off with the Porsche 997. I love the 997. I think, to me, that's like the sort of ideal Porsche, because it's got the looks of the 993, which is my favourite Porsche, like classic Porsche, I suppose you'd say. But it's more modern, it's got all the mod cons, but it's not the 991 where I think they've slightly gone beyond the pale. I mean, that car is, the 991 is so easy to drive that you feel quite remote from it. It feels like you're driving a Golf GTI, even like with the speed, like it's all like it's happening elsewhere. Didn't like it, but I think the 997 still got a bit of that analog ness that the my 996 has, for example. So yeah, very interesting. Lotus XZ Series 2, very cool car. I mean, it just looks a bit too track focused for me, you know, and that, believe me, that wears thin after a while. A car that's meant to be on the track and that you drive around a lot. KTM R400, no Caterhams have ever really done it for me. I'm sure they're great on the track. I'm sure they're great to race, but no, not every day. I'm not clipping a hood in. Bugger that. Porsche 968 Sport. That generation of Porsches sort of confuses me. I can never remember their numbers. You know, it was like 924, 968, 928, blah blah blah. I think it still looks good actually, but it's not for me. And then journalist called Richard Lane goes for a Mazda RX-7 Spirit R, which I think is some sort of grey import. So yeah, Porsche 997, easy. Right, and finally the £40,000 category. Now this is really where I'm likely to be hanging out if I sell the car for 70,000. If I sell my GT3 for 70,000, that is. Probably be looking to make one purchase at around the 40,000, 50,000 mark. So very interesting. So here's their selection. So nice selection as you'd expect. Obviously, you get choice at that amount of money. Start with the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Beautiful car. I love that car so much. I think of all the modern Astons, it's probably the finest looking of the lot. And, you know, great sounding V8. The Noble M12 GTO, I mean, I own a Ginetta G40. And, you know, go support British sports car makers, but the smell of glue gets on your nerves after a while. So no. Mercedes C63 AMG 507 Coupe. I saw one of these the other day, and yeah, great. But I think if I was ever going to get a C63, I'd probably get an estate. I quite like fast estates. Coupe is when you can have an estate and just feel sort of compromised. So yeah, I probably wouldn't get a coupe, to be honest. TVR T350C. I mean, really glad that they're coming back, and sort of wish everybody in that company well, because I think all British car enthusiasts, it's a car company we all loved and admired, but again, not really for me. Like I've had my Ginetta. I think I've sort of endorsed the British sports car industry enough, but good luck to them. And then finally, Matt Pryor goes for Porsche Cayman R. Really interesting car. I've been looking at them actually because I've heard that they're a fairly safe place to put your money, and that they're going to be on the rise pretty soon, so watch that space. It's kind of got like the spirit of my GT3. It's like very lightweight. It's famously the first Porsche that wasn't a 911 that had a better power to weight ratio than a 911. It's a very interesting proposal, like something I'm actually looking at getting. So yeah, I think out of all those, I love the Aston Martin. I'd love to call myself an Aston Martin owner, but I think in this instance I'm going to go Porsche Cayman R. So yeah, I mean, I know it's a bit weird to just read an article to you, but I hope it was vaguely enjoyable. Yeah, so just the choices they made here. I go Renault Clio Sport 182 at £2,000. £5,000 I go Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark 5. 15,000 I go for the Ford Focus RS Mark 1. 25,000 I think I go for the Porsche 997, and then at 40,000 Porsche Cayman R. I'm a bit of a Porsche fan, aren't I? So thanks so much, guys. Down below, see, I've entered the realm of video. We've gone meta. I'd like to hear what you choose on this subject as well. Until we meet again, take care. See ya. Bye.